What's going on, everybody? In today's video, I wanted to give you a Bngo update, or an update on Bionano Genomics stock. We do have some recent news to get into, and I'm going to go over the chart really quick. So let's take a look. If you don't mind hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, helps me out a lot. Check out the links down below to some stocks and cryptos. Consider joining my membership, and let's take a look at Bionano. So as for the recent news, I'll leave this down below for you, but I'm going to briefly go over this. So Bionano announces 3 publications demonstrating OGMs, or optical genome mapping's utility for hematological malignancy research. Now, hematological malignancy could be anything like cancer, just any issues within the cells, but we have 3 peer-reviewed publications collectively illustrating the building support in Europe for optical genome mapping as a powerful alternative to traditional methods of care, SOC, standards of care, of cytogenetic analysis for hematological malignancies. And it says here, taken together, these publications, a review paper, and 2 independent studies illustrate that OGM is not only comparable to traditional methods of cytogenetic analysis for hematological malignancies, God, that's a mouthful, but is potentially more sensitive in the detection of relevant aberrations, meaning that it's finding concordance with these traditional standards of care, and it's also finding more things than these traditional standards of care find. So first off, this publication from Ruhr University, their independent study used OGM to analyze 35 AML samples and 7 MDS samples. AML stands for acute myeloid leukemia, and MDS stands for myelodysplastic syndrome. But they found that OGM had a 91% concordance with traditional standards of care for AML cases, and with additional information detected in more than 1 out of 2 samples. So 64% of samples, OGM uncovered things that traditional standards of care looked right past. And as for MDS, 83% concordance there, with additional information detected in 1 of every 2 samples. And another point is OGM offers simplified workflow with results able to be generated in 4 days without the need for cell culture and other complexities found in the traditional cytogenetic methods or traditional standards of care. Now, looking at the other publication, the publication from University Hospital of Clermont-Ferrand, something like that, found 100% concordance, also detected additional cytogenetic and molecular abnormalities not described by standard techniques, including aberrations cryptic at the karyotype level in 6 samples. And jumping over to the third study, the publication from University of Oulu, OGM was also 100% concordant to the traditional methods, and additional aberrations were actually detected in 78% of the samples, which are currently undetectable by FISH. This is a traditional standard of care. And as said by the CEO Eric Homlin, we have seen a significant increase in the number of peer-reviewed studies showing OGM's utility for hematological malignancy research. These 3 new publications from Europe sites underline those positive results and confirm OGM's potential to serve as a first-tier cytogenetic method for analysis due to its ability to perform in a single assay what today requires multiple technologies with effective and reliable results. And let me add, it also uncovers things that would not be found in traditional methods. And there's one reason that I've stuck around this company despite a horrible chart. Despite looking so bearish for the majority of this time throughout this whole bear market, there is a reason I still talk about this one. I do think they offer a lot of innovation. They offer a better method than the traditional standards of care, and it even uncovers things that would otherwise be missed. So it's really a matter of these medical communities continuing to adopt Bionano's product, continuing to buy their flow cells, which is a recurring revenue for Bionano. So as they get more machines out there, as they get more Sapphire systems out there, we are going to see more revenue in sort of a subscription manner by companies buying these flow cells to keep the machines operational. But let me know what you think about Bionano down below. What do you think about this news? News like this is more clear signs that there is use cases for this product. It is as good, if not better, as traditional standards of care. And from an innovation standpoint, I think this company really has something here. But next up, let's look at the chart, and this is where things get a little negative. And I've showed you guys this before, since right around 2021, this has been in a long downtrend, could not break out of this white line or this previous resistance here, this descending resistance, and we are now creating new lows. It is trying to level off here, so that's a good sign, but the chart is definitely bearish. We are under a descending 250 MA. We are at new lows, which is never a good sign to see a stock at a new low rather than a new high, showing us that we are in a downtrend. But I do have a silver lining here. And in 2020, Bngo was right around this price before it absolutely rallied. Now we're in a totally different type of market. We are not being pumped with stimulus money. We are not all stuck at home, nothing to do, gambling on small caps. The Fed is raising rates. We are not at a low rate. So I don't expect a huge run to the teens anytime soon necessarily. But looking back in history, where we are at now was a previous accumulation zone back in 2020 for quite a long time. So as this potentially trades sideways, if we don't create new lows, if we perhaps coming towards June, maybe if we can actually break out of this long descending resistance, this white line, this looking back could end up being this accumulation zone that we saw back in 2020. This could be a new accumulation zone before we see our potential bull run coming up soon. What we really need from this company is we need to see consistent growing revenue. And they did give us our preliminary earnings here a couple days ago. I went over that. I'll leave the link down below to that video or at the end screen. But it shows that we have a sequential decline in revenue where for the most part this company has quarterly revenue growth, yearly revenue growth, and things typically look good there because they desperately need to continue to see revenue growth so they can tighten up their expenses and eventually reach to a point of profitability, which right now you can't even see that on the horizon, to be real. But over time, as we get more adoption, as more of the OGMs end up in medical communities and they need to buy the flow cells, which is recurring revenue, we should continue to see revenue growth and get closer and closer to break even one day. But until then, this stock from a chart perspective may likely fall further. The environment definitely isn't supporting Bionano right now with rising rates, as they may soon need to pull out debt. Not necessarily this year, but potentially if things don't really turn around, they will likely have to pull out debt or dilute. And the fact that this is now under $1, we of course have the delisting notification from the NASDAQ looming over our heads. They have plenty of time to comply, but that is another headwind for Bngo. But like I said earlier, there is a reason that I'm still in this company. I do still think it has great potential, although it is certainly a mixed bag with, a bad chart. New lows typically bring new lows. We can't break out of this resistance. We are in a declining 50 and 200 MA. We are in, not the right environment for small caps, certainly right now at least. But the thing with this company is it has innovation backing it up. They offer something that these traditional standards of care can't even beat. And I do think that, adoption is important. As we potentially see more adoption, this company can see revenue increase. And eventually we'll hear talks about profitability. But let me know what you think about Bngo. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll catch you a little bit later.